Start by talking a little bit about the dynamic in your midfield. We talked to Maya Han, and so much creativity there. I mean, how do you tell these girls to defend when they all want to get forward and score goals?
That's the main reason why we switched into having 4 midfield this year. We changed up our formation knowing that our depth in the team is going to be in the middle. And I always say when you're looking at the Pac-12 and you're looking at the champions, the national champions that have come out of the Pac-12, they've won because they've had dynamic midfielders. And it's fun. It's a fun, problem to have as a coaching staff to figure out the combinations that work well together. But also knowing that we have the depth to rotate players, to know that our play doesn't dip down, and we want our players to be creative in the midfield.
How demanding has it been on Mia Palmer and Chai Cortez kind of fulfilling the wide role of the team?
That's how we play our outside backs. They typically incur the most mileage of a game. I mean, right now they're averaging almost a 10, 11K per game, and that's twice a weekend. And so, both of them were a little bit banged up over the summer, so they weren't ready, 90 minutes fit ready. But they're great players, and we've got players that can come in and support them in the sense of giving them a break. But we also, are operating maybe out of a different system where we can take them off the game and switch it to a 3-5-2.
Talk about playing Clemson again. Talk about playing Clemson, 19th ranked team in the country. You went to 2 overtimes. What was kind of that like for your squad?
When you go into overtime games, it's always, exciting, nerve-wracking, but it's a learning point. When you go on the road and you're playing in 92-degree weather and it's hot, we had an opportunity to win the game in the last 50 seconds of the game. Didn't capitalize on that, and to be honest, they had their opportunities, but our players stepped up. Caitlin Carter played huge. I think with such a young squad, going into overtime with Clemson and not giving up, a game-winning goal in the overtime minutes was a really big learning step for us.
I asked you a little bit about it yesterday, but 15 goals already through 6 games. You've been a little bit surprised by this?
I think every coach wants to score buckets of goals. It takes off the pressure on the backs. Unfortunately, we are giving up goals. And so, at the end of the day, as long as we score one more than the opponent, then I'll be happy. But yeah, 15 goals. I think I heard a stat, 14 of them are from underclassmen, freshmen and sophomores. So that's impressive. I think we all were trying to figure out who was going to step up and lead our team in scoring after graduating Marissa Everett. And it's kind of fun to sit back and be Jordan Warmdahl and Allie Cook and Maya Han. These young bucks really step up and really be excited for the moment.
You talk about Zoe Hasnow scoring the game winner against Furman in the 86th minute, I believe.
Yeah, we've been giving up some big 5 goals, so it was nice to have a goal for us in the last 5 minutes of the game. But Zoe was so determined to not come off that field without a victory. Second half, she was fired up. She was winning balls out of the air. She was transitioning and defending. She was attacking, and she just had a driven mindset. And I knew that if it came down to it, Zoe was going to put it away for us.
You guys have scored a lot of long-range efforts so far this year. Is that something you've been working on in practice or something you encourage?
No, I think a little bit with our change in our system. We're not in a 4-3-3 where we're getting a lot of flank play. A lot of our numbers are down the middle, and I think when you have some creative players, you can open up some passing channels, and you're able to dribble to penetrate. But that's where the goals are coming from, and we are going to try to get back to hitting some flank balls and some crosses in the box. But we're just going to keep them going, let them go.
Yeah, can you talk about your back line a little bit? We haven't talked about it too much. Hinojosa and Croissant have been playing nearly every minute of every game. What was it like facing the most pressure they've seen all season against Clemson?
Alyssa's been a leader for us. She's been starting, I think, 3 years in a row and got great minutes her freshman year, and she's a captain this year. So to have her playing next to a true freshman, she's been a great leader to her and a mentor. And Croy, when she steps on the field, I don't think anyone looks at her and says she's a freshman. She's got great size and great build, but also great confidence. And so, you pair them together, and they're very quick and athletic. And I'm really enjoying the stress that we've been under, because that's what we're going to see in the Pac-12. When you go against Stanford, who's scoring 9 goals, 7 goals a game, we're going to be pressed in the back line. So all these games leading up to them just helps us for the Pac-12.
Looking forward to Portland on Friday. Is there something they do specifically well that you want to talk to about with your team?
right now we got to solve some things on our team, but Portland's good. I mean, Michelle French has done a good job, and then historically they've always been a great team. They've been dangerous in some set pieces. They've been tested. They've played Carolina and done a good job with the other opponents that they've done. But for the most part today, we're working on some stuff that we need to solve from this past weekend. We got exposed a little bit, so it was nice to figure out where some of our weaknesses are and be able to attack them going this forward.
Off the field, how beneficial do you think the South Carolina trip was?
I think it brought us together in our love of the Pacific Northwest. The weather out there was a little warm, to say the least, but that's what you do these trips for. You want to get out. We were able to travel everyone that was healthy. We were able to see different things, different parts of the country, different types of food. A lot of our girls had never been to South Carolina before, and to drive through Clemson to figure out what they have, and I thought it was a great trip for us overall to bond, to come together, and a tie on the road and a win on the road, we'll definitely take it.
You talked about the contribution of this freshman class. What is it about this group that have allowed them to really come in and play freely?
Yeah, I think a lot of that falls on our upperclassmen shoulders. We've been working a lot with embracing the players coming in and allowing them to be free, to be who they are. I think our seniors have done a really good job of connecting with them over the summer. But these baby ducks, as I like to call them, I mean, they're hungry, they're motivated. They want to go play pro. They want to play with their national team. They have played in World Cups. They have trained with NWSL teams. So I think the biggest learning curve for them is to figure out college soccer. It's a pacey game. It's an athletic game. It's an intense game, and I think they're doing a good job managing those pressures.
Having a player as Jordan this year, she's talking about how she's learned to kind of embrace having familiar faces in the stands, whereas she might have been intimidated by that a year ago. She's learned to embrace it and not feel pressured by that. Do you see that?
Absolutely. I think when you recruit a homegrown player, they have the pressure of the whole city on their shoulders. And for her, I mean, I'm in Starbucks and people are like, "Oh, Jordan, oh, I love Jordan. I bought her jersey." And so, that's a really big weight on someone's shoulders. And so I think for Jordan embracing that, she grew up watching Duck soccer. She's probably watched more Duck soccer games than I have. And for her, she's proud to be from Eugene, and she's playing with a chip on her shoulder. And, for us, we want to just keep encouraging that drive, keep encouraging how to be dangerous and how to be hungry around the net. And she's done a good job. I mean, I'm proud of her, and I'm so excited. She's only a sophomore and only 6 games in, so we got a lot of work to do, and finding a way to keep her hungry around the goal.
The chances she's finishing, is she on like a particularly hot streak? I mean, statistically it looks like it.
Yeah.
Is she one of those players? Sometimes players get in a streak where it feels like they're probably finishing everything.
Yeah.
Is she particularly hot, or is she just kind of going with the flow right now?
I think she's in the right spot at the right time, and I think a lot of that is reading the play, reading the game. And the one thing that we knew that Jordan was going to bring to us is just her hard work, her mentality. Whenever we watched her in the youth game, she was always the hardest working player out there. She wanted to finish games. She was gritty. And I think when you're around this goal and around the goal in the Pac-12, it doesn't have to be this clean, beautiful finish. I mean, it's just a toe poke. It's a header. So she's putting herself in the right position, which really that means she's reading the play and she's just getting out there for effort. And she wants it. She's hungry.
Sounds like a coach's kid.
Yeah, Brandy's done a good job. She definitely, Brandy Warmdahl, coaching at North Eugene, has done a great job out there. But absolutely, I'm able to talk to Jordan, and she gets it as a coach, coach's daughter. True Asco is also a coach's daughter, so it's kind of fun to have them out there. They know exactly what I mean and when I mean it.
Just talk about Caitlin Carr's performance this weekend.
Yeah, it was huge. I think it's been no secret. It was kind of up in the air as far as the position on who was going to win it. And just these past few games, Caitlin is really coming out with a lot of confidence. And against Clemson was huge. I mean, she kept us in the game, big time saves, good presence and good communication. And I think sometimes as that general back there, you need to be able to read the game, slow us down when we need to, calm people down, and really be able to organize it.
I've talked to Alyssa Hinojosa about the communication. Have you seen it improve over the past couple of weeks with the back line and the goalkeepers?
Yeah, I think that's always when you asked me at the beginning of the season what our question marks were, it was the goalkeeper, what is our back line going to look like, and who's going to be our holding midfielder. And we're really finding a lot about our team these past 6 games.
You talked about it a little bit, but just facing that competition, how important is it to be in those tough dogfight games against ranked teams going into the Pac-12 tournament?
It's huge. You know, to prepare ourselves in the non-conference is the main reason why we're doing it, right? We want to get experience, but we want to be tested. We want to go into environments that are hot, uncomfortable. We want to face adversity to figure out how we can solve that adversity. You know, same thing when we went into Fresno and Santa Clara. Great, both teams learned a lot. But then getting on the road, going across the country, I mean, that's something that you see in when we go to Arizona. It's going to be hot on a Sunday afternoon. So it's important that we put ourselves in these positions so we can go back and say, we've done this. We've been here. We know what to do.